Talk about artists and muses. Marie-Thérèse, I don't think I can think of another case of a muse whose sheer sensual inspiration had such a far-reaching and dramatic effect on the painting of an artist.
Yes, well, since 1927, when he meets her in Paris, in front of the Galerie Lafayette, Picasso becomes obsessively in love, and she's invading his work.
I always think Picasso's paintings make the most wonderful personal journal because he dates them so precisely, doesn't he?
Yes, well, interesting enough, it's in the 30s that Picasso starts to date very precisely all his works.
This sumptuous portrait of Marie-Thérèse, where are we in the evolving relationship between Picasso and Marie-Thérèse at this point?
In October 1932, Picasso's just turned 51-year-old. He's at the height of his career, and in the previous year he would accomplish one of the most astonishing series of sculptures, but also paintings, because in 1932 that happens, those two major exhibitions, the 1932 retrospective at the Galerie Georges Petit in Paris, followed by the exhibition in Zurich. So Picasso in a great mode of creativity. In fact, the whole picture seems to be an evocation of the cosmos, the way it's released to nature with the green or the yellow or the blue. It's, you see how happy Picasso is in that mood. But not only he showed himself as the greatest colorist, but he's also at the time kind of challenged by a recent retrospective on Matisse that also happened at the Galerie Georges Petit. And here you see also the lines are incredibly precise. The way he's underlining all the contours of the shapes, almost like a sculptor would do, is truly remarkable. And somehow, for someone who's both a painter and a sculptor, it seems that he wants to put the cedar within a space, whether it's the corner of the room, like that line indicates, or the window or the seat. He's not only capable of accomplishing a great portrait, but it's also an amazing formal research on shapes and colors.
It's an image of great beauty, that profile.
Yes, and in fact, until recently, until I found and compared some of the archived materials that would help us understanding how Marie-Thérèse actually was, the only testimony was François Gillot, who once said, "You can't deny when you see Marie-Thérèse that she has such an arresting profile, and also the shape of her body, because she was extremely quite tall and athletic." So you can understand the reason why Picasso would become obsessed by her lines and curves.
This painting, of course, was in Picasso's collection when he died. What sort of pictures did he keep in his collection?
Well, he did keep very important works.
He obviously kept the paintings that had great personal significance to him.
Absolutely.
The head itself has this extraordinary sort of incised effect in the outline, doesn't it, which is almost sculptural.
Yes, well, you know, in 1930, Picasso buys this great big castle in Bois-Jaloux, and he liked the idea of becoming suddenly a châtelain, which allows him to install a sculpture studio and a print studio. So one has to keep in mind that at that time he's going constantly from one medium to the others. And you clearly see in that picture, as you come closer, the technique is complex and reveal the technique of both a painter, a sculptor, and a printmaker.
What do you think has driven the recent enormous increase in interest in this particular phase of Picasso's working life?
Well, we do realize it's one of the most astonishing periods of Picasso's work, where he found a way to reinvent himself and found a new plastic laboratory. In fact, recent shows and recent research, including the great exhibition at the Guggenheim, Black and White, allows us to understand better how experimental and crucial that moment is.
Diana, can I ask you, finally, what it's like to look at a picture like this, which is a portrait of your grandmother by your grandfather, and at the same time realize that it is one of the great images of modern art?
It is quite amazing to see that it's not only a portrait of Marie-Thérèse, who happened to be my grandmother, but it's a portrait of a moment where two people get together and have this incredible moment of passion. So in terms of preserving a testimony of when Picasso strangely seems to kind of lose his identity within Marie-Thérèse and projecting on her sometimes his own features and also sexual fantasies. Yes, it is quite unusual.